for the past few months now. So firstly, we've got my dream job. We'll go from newest to oldest, because that's how it's been shown up. So dream job, we had to choose a job that we wanted to go on to in the media industry, so I chose editor. So we had to explain what the person does in their job, what part of the film industry they work in, so pre-production, production, post-production, or all three. In this case, the editor only works in post-production, and their job ends there. They have to explain why they're in that phase, so they work on the film that's been shot, so they have to edit together all the stuff, and they work closely with the producer and the director. To become this role, you have to have experience in editing, and you have to know how to work software for editing and computers, Macs, etc. What training's involved? So there's not really much training, but they do offer short courses in training. For example, postgraduate courses for assistant editors. What the career path is. So you would start off as a freelancer and then work your way up to, say, the big film industry. Then we had to compare our dream job role to another job role. So I compared mine to the producer, who works in all three fields, compared to the editor, who only works in one. And the producer's job role is much higher up than the editor's, since they take care of the whole set. Next is advantages and disadvantages. So we just had to list some. So for advantages, we work with the director of the film as well as the producer. We've got to be easy to communicate with and creative. And for disadvantages, say for freelancing jobs, we would get paid £50 per day for a week. So that's quite low, but I guess you could live off it. And next is, there we go. Next we have pictures that we had to pick that corresponded to our dream job. So we had to get about 8 to 10 pictures for our blog that go with our dream job. So that was easy. For this, we had to say how many people work in the film industry, say for the UK. So we have approximately 27,800 people working in the film industry. And there's stuff with subsector of the film industry. Almost all film production crews are freelancers, and only a small percentage working for companies. Here we have to describe components of the film industry, so let's say percentages of people who work in development, production, facilities, distribution, exhibition, and export, which are the 6 major components of the film industry. So we had 43% of companies based in production, 13% in distribution, and 44% remaining for the exhibition. Development consists of script writers, producers, and directors. Production consisting of making the idea, let's say for a film, and distribution, selling to the public. So they've got to analyze audiences, and they've got to be able to know what their product is aimed at, like say who the product is aimed at, before they actually sell it. An exhibition consists of showing the film to the public before its official release. So this will get the film around through word of mouth, which people will trust their friends more than, say, critics in a magazine or newspaper. Conglomerates. Here we had to explain the 6, or look into the 6 major conglomerates. So we've got Universal, 20th Century Fox, Warner Brothers, Disney, CBS, and Sony. And we just had to briefly explain, say, like, what they do, what they've done, how much they make, and how much their company's worth, and when their company was founded. Here we have a job role timeline for job roles in the media industry. So you can see the director works in all three, as well as the producer. So they work in pre-production, production, and post-production. Whereas the scriptwriter works in pre-production, making the scripts and showing it to the director, producer. Sound recordist works in pre-production and production, as well as the makeup artist, costume designer. And then we have the editor who works in post-production. And then we list advantages of each role, and as well as disadvantages. So we've got the producer. They can demand an extra scene if they so please. So they can change the script around to how they want it to be like. And disadvantages, they have to find the right distributor, and that can be very time consuming. And they also have to help the director, so that's even more time gone. Advantages of the director, they're able to say what goes in to the production and what doesn't, etc. If I go through all that, we'll be here all day. Our dream CV. So we had to create a CV that we would, show to someone if we were going to get a job. So we listed our own company, so where we would work. So we had to make that up, and what roles we would be. We had to put where we worked previously. So, for instance, I put Warp Films editor, assistant editor, and films that we worked on. And here for education, we had to put what university we went to, what college we went to, and what high school we went to. So we put our qualifications under each. Here for the job descriptions, we had to read through all of this and then explain what's being advertised, who is it advertising to, how long is it for, how much does it pay, where is it at. And the same for job description 2 and 1. So here, just like the dream job role for the editor, we had to describe the editor role. So what phase they work in, we had to describe the role, who do they work closely with, what skills, what experience, and what skills we have right now. So the skills I have now, I've edited around 2 to 3 videos, and we have like basic knowledge on Final Cut, so we know how to edit together films. We know how to change sound. We know how to do cutaways and transitions, text. Research on job roles. We had to watch videos, so we watched 3, and then we had to describe what skills you would need for that particular job that's been shown in the video, and what you would have to do in that job. So, for instance, in this first one, you would have to have common sense, be aware of your surroundings, and need to be able to work in a team. To describe what they did and their job. So, this person works with trucks and stuff on set, so they move around stuff that needs to be on set. You would also need good communication skills. For this one, we had to explain the role of a director. So that was So they work closely with everyone in set, and they do this to make sure that everyone knows, what they're doing, and they have to. I'm just going to move on. So in this one, we had to explain what skills actors have or need to have. So they need to be creative, be able to, for example, dance, sing, move. They have to have their own style. So they can't just, so they're unique. They just can't be like anyone else. So that'd be too simple. As we have jobs in the film industry where we had to list different jobs. So we've got the producer, executive producer, director, assistant director, etc. Distributors. We had to describe what distributors are, what they do, and why they do it. So they sell the film to the public, they bring up advertisements, and they make the movie known. So they will show the advertisements on posters, on TV, radio. Working title films. We had to look into working title films and make some brief posts on what, where they originated, what they were parts of before they were independent. So it says here they were part of Vivendi Universal. And we had to explain what movies they've worked on. So, for example, they've worked on Paul and Hot Fuzz. They're not independent. I was confusing those with Warp Films. They're a conglomerate. This one is independent. Warp Films, that's working title. Warp Films, we had to explain when they were set up, where they get their funding from. So they would get their funding from EM Media and the National Lottery Fund. And they were also set up by NETSA in 2002. We had to explain what genres they explore or go into. So they usually stick with the social realism genre because it's down to earth. All their films have to be done on set, so there's no special effects. And to advertise their films, they need a distributor, like everything else. And that is the end of it. That's everything in the Creative Media Sector blog. And we're done.